There. All right. We'll start with the pledge. First on the agenda is approval of the minutes from October 14th.
Here that shouldn't be in. After they closed the public hearing, we had in here, Nick Leon requested to be on the agenda. That was in September. I think that needed to be out of there. September's list. It was not on this month. Other than that, if that comes out, then we'll be accept the minutes with that correction.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next is new business. Pat's Auto Repair. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the roll call. I got ahead of myself. The Bills aren't playing tonight either. Yeah, why don't you do the roll call, Lee? I'm sorry.
So Tom,
Here.
Kurt,
Here.
Steve, Wes is excused, Ben,
Here.
John, Jean, Gary,
So we need a motion to have Gary be the voting member tonight since Wes isn't here. Correct? Okay. All in favor? Okay, so first is Pat's Auto Repair. Which we heard a little bit about this last time, so. So this, just to give everybody a little update, this is, we talked about this at last month's meeting. And this is the formal site plan review for a 40 by 40 addition. And it's a modification to the existing special use permit that he has. So this is, there's no need for a public hearing, and it's just a modification to the special use permit and a building application, a building permit, which we do through the. Yep. So you want to tell us about the, well, we saw it last time. Has anything changed from what it was? Okay.
That's the way to win.
Sure.
That corner right there.
Right. It's just a so you can do it.
After hours. So we had.
I do.
We've been using. Oh, no, these cars are totally wrecked.
Sure.
That intersection.
Workers' comp.
They don't see them coming from the west. They cross that intersection.
Okay, hang on.
Tom, what do we have? Yeah, this is all open for it. Site plan.
Workers' comp.
What does he have to do with secret? That's what I think it's discussing. Doesn't seem like it would have. It wouldn't seem like it had to. But if it's done, it's done. It's just. From the out.
Okay, sorry, Steve.
That's right.
So we gotta do a few things, but I just paperwork stuff, but I guess this, again, this is for the modification of the special use permit that he already has. And the special use permit he has now doesn't have any conditions on it, I think, right? Well, if it does have any conditions, they're gonna remain. Which you're not asking to change anything that's down there now. Okay. And Lee brought up a few things that you need. One, obviously the building permit, which you can obtain from Jared, you're gonna get from Jared. Workers' comp form filled out, just to verify that you have it for the town. Yep. And then liability, a copy of your liability insurance.
I would say you should meet with Jared and talk with him on this, because this probably should have gone through him before coming to the planning. Because he was unaware of any of this. So, looking up your info right now of what I have, as I tried organizing after Shelley left. Okay, all requirements of 350-59 motor vehicle repair shop of those filling local law are met. That was what was required before.
Okay. Before we do that, should we do the motion for the site plan? You're familiar, you're familiar with the conditions of the motor vehicle? Back. Okay. Those will be on there. So I think if nobody's got any questions about the addition, we just need a motion for the special use permit modification.
I make a motion, we grant the special use modification.
I'll second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and then this is the short secret form. And I'm just. Yeah. This is a short form. I'll just assume these are, if there's no response, we'll assume they're no. If anybody has any yes responses, just speak up. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or regulation? Proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of the land? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? We don't have a lot of that going on. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supply, public or private wastewater treatment utilities? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of this important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, such as wetland, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
Move we declare a negative seeker.
Okay,
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Do you have a copy of your plan that can go with the application that I can give to Jared? Just what you have.
A lot of that, Tennessee, Texas.
In and out quick.
All right. So next is comprehensive plan document review. I read through it. I had some things. Anybody can go first or second or whatever. Go last.
I get stuff. It doesn't matter whenever you want to.
Go ahead.
Whoever.
Oh, go ahead.
You want to start in the beginning, or how do you want to do this? Or do you want to just add on the pages so we're not going back and forth?
Yeah, why don't we do it page by page
Yeah.
and then, or, you know, whatever comments you have, and then
Yep.
if I got one on that page, I'll
Alright.
jump in.
So we'll start on chapter 1.
Oh, they had some there last week. Is there any more copies? Okay.
You marking up yours
Can
and
go
the
over
copy
that.
to
Let's do it.
Yeah, I got this, I can email it to you.
No, one of these needs to be marked up and turned in to the committee as this,
Okay. Well, I'll just give you a copy of what I got.
is that gonna include everyone else's?
It won't include his. You got yours you got yours.
I have a copy. A copy or internet copy of it. Digital copy, and I just here, and I will make
So that'll
a digital.
do that for us? Great.
Yes.
Just so that there's record of all the.
Yeah.
Very good.
And just leave it, I know you already do this, but when you put these changes in so they can see what we put, can you do them in a different color? Like from us, because I
Sure.
use a yellow thing and some of these were already in yellow, so I had to go get it. I'm just saying, so they'll know if they don't like, well,
Sure, I can do
because
that.
sometimes people say I made the changes and you're like, what was it before? Like, you know, what I mean, I like to see the strike out and how, they might want to see it, why did
True.
you take it out? So,
True.
that's all.
And I can always forward it to everybody afterwards.
They'll
too.
see it and they can, I tried to find the digital to do it for you on mine, I couldn't, like, where I could edit it, I didn't want to go through
Well,
those.
I wasn't gonna edit it, I was just gonna add
I was too, I was just gonna
off
hide
to
it,
the side or
color.
something.
but, okay, whatever works. I'm used to like striking it out, that's all I was saying, because like people can see what you changed and you put your thing with a different color. I would try to make it difficult, I couldn't do it, so that's why I just used my chicken scratch and highlight. Which you won't be able to read.
Okay. I don't start till 2-2, so.
Oh, these are just little things. We have the members on here. We have, and I'm not, this is gonna sound like the first one. The town of, when we start the planning process, we weren't really and it really doesn't matter technical, but we weren't the one who asked to redo this town plan. It says the town of Berry Planning Board, to the best of our ability, were directed to encourage broad public participation. But we weren't in charge of any of this, like, we were directed by it should be the town board directed us to appoint them as lead agency, because we were all, in the past, the town planning board would do it. We were playing second fiddle, and it's fine, but I just want to make clear that the planning process was directed by the town board.
Just change planning to town board.
Yeah, that's all I had. Town of Berry board. And again, I think that's just that statement's not really pertinent. I think when you read this, I came away with the impression, my blanket statement is this was, I could have wrote this, not being, it didn't seem to be applicable to our town, all of it. The first part I get it is the census from Orleans County, but that was just my general. And again, not being nitpicky, but we have everyone listed, we have titles, I don't know why George McKenna is the chair, and maybe he was, I don't know if that was a self-appointed, but understanding the process is that we didn't select the committee, and it makes it look like the planning board did, that's all. On that page.
Is that on 1-1?
Yeah, 1-1.
Okay.
And it's the only title. I look for things that aren't consistent, and there's a lot later on in the thing. You'll see it's not it's just, if you're gonna name one, you might as well name the other. My next thing that I had, and if you don't have anything to what?
2-2.
So 2-1, I just had a question. It was, I don't know if this is the part, but it has a statement there, before a local or county government may undertake a project that affects land within the agriculture district, it must submit the data statement to the County Agriculture and Farmland Protection Board and the State Department of Agriculture and Markets for consideration of the impacts on agriculture. So I was just wondering if that partakes if somebody wants to take farmland out to put a solar farm in, because that's, you gotta read
Yeah, yeah.
where this is. I'm just trying to think of uses, or if you wanna do that, then we're saying now we have to send it up the food chain and the ag and markets, which I don't believe we've done that before. As part of our process. That was just a question and making sure it's consistent with the law, because I know we did the solar on 98. I don't remember incorporating us reaching out to ag and markets and some of the others and saying, hey, this is in our district, because you gotta remember, everything, almost all of our land is ag and residential. So this would partake anything. I'm not trying to be nitpicky, that if you're gonna follow to the letter of the comprehensive plan, if I wanna build a house and it's in an ag residential, I should be reaching out and saying, hey, I'm gonna take this 5 acres and notifying the appropriate State Department of Agriculture and Markets for consideration on the impact. That's, again, maybe I'm reading too much, I spent too much time. I don't know,
There's a lot of information here. No
Right.
doubt.
I'm not finding where you're reading that.
That's under page 2.1 under agriculture district program.
Which paragraph?
It's the third paragraph halfway through. The paragraph starts with, in addition, qualified farmlands are protected from government agencies that seek to acquire farmland through eminent domain. I understand that part. And then it's after that sentence.
So are we looking for a change in that, or what do we want to do with it?
Again, this is supposed to guide our future laws, not like present. I'm just concerned, like, why it's in there. Like, is it gonna make our future when we do these things? Are we supposed to incorporate those extra steps?
I think this is just from the ag district, from the county ag district program. This isn't necessarily something that they came up with.
And that'd be, yeah,
This was already.
this was
place.
already in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe.
Might be something to look into though, make,
I was,
Fine.
yeah, I'm not, again, I didn't, it wasn't the expert. I was just reading it for what it was.
Because then they will be pushing, somebody will be pushing, if the solar farm goes in, did you check with Ag and Markets? Did you do this? Did you do this?
That's a real-
Solar farms, you don't have to take it out of an ag district. It could stay in.
Yeah,
You still have to notify, and I think it ties into the bigger picture. Maybe again, I'm reading too much in there, whether you should allow solar farms to go on Class A farmland or should be in the marginal, right? I'm just thinking, how are we putting something in here that's gonna restrict? And I don't know that, maybe like you said, it could be, I just don't know. I didn't have anything to reference it on outside of, I didn't see it before, so it was kind of like it stuck out to me.
See 4 different farms going in between here and Batavia.
No, correct.
Yeah. so-
I mean, there's a lot. You don't have to go that far to see where this could.
is it the local government here that would tell them what you have to do? Or when they submit it to New York State, they would be the ones doing it?
Right.
So why would we have it in here in our comprehensive?
Like I say, I think this is just referencing.
Standard
the
language,
county.
yep. Okay, that could be fine.
or the state, excuse me.
Yeah.
All right. Good with that? You got any more on 2-1? You got any 2-2?
2-2, I was just, the only thing different I had is they had a R1 and an AR, and they had, different size lots. And again, I was just, I don't remember. AR districts intended to protect agricultural land and uses, 1 and 2 family dwellings on lots with a minimum of 4,000 square feet. And then it goes on, civic and other uses. Special permits include home occupation, animal hospitals, which I found interesting, campgrounds, farm markets, and manufactured home parks. Why they just list those ones. And then it says R1 residential districts, which we don't have a pure, unless I'm wrong, permits 1 and 2 family dwellings with a minimum area of 30,000 square feet.
We no longer have R1.
Correct.
Well, that should
I
take it out.
pointed that out in my, when I went through, I started it and told them we don't have R1.
Okay.
And I told them exactly when we got rid of R1. So that is,
So that's already removed, or should be?
it should be.
That 30,000 and 40,000 square foot threshold is in our zoning.
But if we don't have
But if we don't have R1,
Oh, we don't
doesn't
have
matter.
R1. That's what I didn't. And then, and this is what I did know, I thought we had a memorandum, but I just, again, I put cannabis, we prohibit cannabis retail dispensaries and on-site consumption facilities within the town. I didn't know we made that a law.
We do have a cannabis law.
I thought we had a moratorium on it. That's what we told the planning board, because we're supposed to be the ones that make the recommendations to the town.
We're not allowing cannabis, anything.
We opted out.
We opted out.
We made the recommendation, but they had the final say.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the way I remember it. Does that sound right?
And we opted out totally of everything.
I'm done with that page.
I had one on 2-2. On 2-2, the very first paragraph says that the AR district is intended to protect agriculture, da-da-da-da. And it goes through the listing of what's allowed there, and mining is allowed in the AR district, and it's not listed.
Correct.
So if you're gonna list the other things, it seems like you ought to list that.
Or similar. I mean, that's not similar to, even similar to any of those.
Right.
So,
No, I agree with that. I think if you're gonna list them, you either put an example of or special use, require a special use permit, and then we default to it. Because I had the same, how they listed just a few. We have much more than that.
Right.
I'm with you there.
I don't have another one until 2-6. I'm not trying to make this the Steve and Tom show, so.
No, exactly. I'm with you.
Whatever else you got, anybody, jump in.
On 2-4, I just had spacing on G. Just so you know, nothing different there, but there's spaces between the first and second and second and third. This is going for final copy.
Spaces in the, between A and J?
No, and G, if you read it, it should be one continuous
Oh,
paragraph.
gotcha.
I'm just saying, it's just double spaced.
Yep.
And then it goes to single space, just looks sloppy.
2-6. There's no mention of the New York State Office of Parks and Recreation and Historic Preservation relative to historic properties and cultural resources in the town. And I think the last time we updated it, I think it was in there. So I don't know if they reached out to them for comments or not.
The only way we're gonna know is if we take an old one, compare it to this one and go down through.
Yeah, well, this page lists all the agencies that were contacted, and they're not mentioned on there. So you're right, gotta look and compare it. Next one I had is on 3-5. 3-5, it lists mining as having 114 acres of area in the town as permitted, and the correct acreage is 1,450.
Quite a difference.
And those are ones that that could include ones that I'm not familiar with. So
What was the acreage?
1,450.
Gotta be more than 2 parcels too, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 19 parcels. It's 4.04%.
So is that, it just gotta add up to 100? Where are you taking land
I would
from?
imagine it's gonna come out of agricultural.
You know where that information came from?
Yeah. It came from our special use permit we have. I got all the tax map numbers right here.
No, I mean, the rest of this, I was actually talking to John.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It says right there, real property tax parcel records. That's what the source of the information is right there at the bottom of the chart. I don't know what that is, but. Barb, from the people we hired, she's the one that collected the information from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3-5.
That's something that maybe that could be double checked then.
Tom, is there a difference between what's actually excavated and what's slated for mining?
There could be.
Because you have a-
Even if the acreage I got is wrong, there's more than 2 parcels, you know? And there's more than 114 acres.
And there's more than just Keeler too, right?
Yeah. Bennett, and there's several other ones in the town too.
I'll go back to the zip code map. It's wrong. And I know because I live where I live, it's not right.
Oh, what page is that on?
It's before that 3-5. The page before.
Okay.
Zip code?
The zip code.
You got anything else on 3-5? 3-6. What's that?
I just had question mark because I didn't, it didn't jive. But
3-6. By the way, I got a bunch of other stuff besides stuff that's related to mining. I'm not trying to single that out. But I got a map that would be consistent with this tax map. Number of parcels that I think the map should be updated on 3-6 to reflect what we were talking about on 3-5 so that they're consistent.
If you're talking 1,000 acres difference.
Yeah, there should be a lot more purple in there.
The purple area is correct? Or they just not,
They're not all.
not all right?
Yeah.
Big mine over there, Maple Street, Eagle Harbor Road, it's not on there.
Right.
It's not on there at all, is it?
I just think 3-5 and 3-6, they need to go back through and check that all out. If they do us any good, if we can pull it out of it.
Airport's residential.
I didn't have anything else till 327.
327, you said?
Yeah.
I only had a question mark on 323. Well, I had a couple on 322. I was just under housing characteristics. Under the town of Berry, owner occupied units. I don't know, it says there's 16 owner occupied units that are worth $1 million or more in the town of Berry. And 113 in Orleans County. Guess I didn't do a very good job when I was in sales. I don't know where they got that information.
It says right here, US Census Bureau.
Yeah. So maybe some people are counting owner occupied units. And again, not on the next page, it identifies females in the labor force. source. It's just not consistent, doesn't show anyone else, but I guess. Again, Census Bureau information, I don't really, has really no impact on
We
our,
can't change that.
correct, it is what it is, but I just think they got the wrong area. Possibly.
I don't know how you'd go about verifying this. It's gonna go back to Barbara and say, hey, is it really 16? Is there really 16 parcels in Barry? That are over 1 million? Go to town assessor and see if it's true.
I mean, it's all stuff that, yeah, we outsourced it. Census to the census, I'm just, we can have our comment period after we close the meeting. On 326, Tom, the only thing I had, it was more, under businesses in Barry, again, we supply, should be our, instead of our, municipalities and contractors. Again, not a big deal. But then you go down to commercial renewable energy projects. And again, maybe, you know, they are proposed in the town. They're referencing the wind and they're referencing the solar project. And the reason I highlight proposed, because there's nothing in this report that generates, and maybe that was the difference between the other one. If they're considering these as proposed instead of in motion, because there's no reference in this to ask the town, the citizens, what they want with any revenue that gets generated. We don't speak to that. I thought that was the whole purpose when we first got, when they wanted to see changes, to get people's consensus of where do you want this.
That was in the survey.
But it doesn't speak to it in our. So those are my only comments on that.
What are you suggesting on 3? I guess I'm just making sure I understand.
Well, I just need to know the understanding, are these projects, I mean,
They're ongoing, they're not proposed, right? Is that what you're saying?
well,
Yeah.
two large scale commercial renewable energy are currently,
Construction phase.
yeah, are currently approved, or however you want to put it. I mean, I understand there's ORES and there's some other hoops, but they're not proposed.
Right.
Yeah, they're approved, basically.
They're approved. I mean,
In
people
the-
don't want,
are in the-
people don't want to.
They're in the approval process.
It has nothing to do with whether you're for or against it. It's just like, here's what the reality might be or
Want
is,
the document to be accurate.
and we need to address it.
It should say have been, or approved in town. Construction is proposed.
That's my understanding. And that's why again, because the plan doesn't speak to what you're gonna do with the revenue. Agreed. It should be approved.
The continues on, both projects that had received siting permits from the New York State Office of Renewable Energy, which is authorized to approve renewable energy projects. The final approval authority
So anyways, that was all.
Right down into the next page, it says there, received the permit.
Yeah, so that kind of contradicts one.
Correct.
contradicts the other.
But then it goes back to the project is currently August to proposed to include. But the permit, why they redid it was because of, a different number of windmills or heights or whatever the reason they did it. But it kind of goes back and forth, is all I'm saying. It's confusing how it reads.
Still up here. Modify again.
So that's it for me on that page.
I had, on the same page, 327, they list the size of the project, but as 184.8 megawatts of electricity. Is that what's gonna produce per hour, day, year?
That's nameplate, what they call nameplate capacity. That means, take like a motor, it's a nameplate capacity of 5 horsepower, has the capability of producing 5 horsepower. These generators have a nameplate capacity. The only time they ever produce that is if you have maximum wind sustained.
So it has a potential for.
Yes. It only lists its.
Still has to be in a period of time, though. What is the period of time? Year?
Any second, it can produce that much power. The wind is gonna blow hard enough to reach that. There's a
It
point
would
where
be
the wind blows too
producing
hard.
184 megawatt.
So that
minute.
somewhere it's rated at what wind speed it can generate this at. And if the wind stays there for days, that's what it'll generate for days. But if the wind only blows that hard for an hour, then it won't
It'd be
produce that much
electrician, I guess.
power for an hour. That make sense? It's just,
Yeah.
it's just the main,
Yeah.
it's just the maximum that it can make. That's what it's designed for. The
They
wind
were-
doesn't
they
blow at
were-
all, it doesn't do anything.
But they were questioning how long, so like you say, it could be an hour.
Given a period of
day.
time.
It's
what-
just it has
Correct.
nothing to do with time.
Okay.
It can generate that power for as long as you can provide wind.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not electricians.
Does that need any clarification then, or we're just gonna call it that? Leave it? I'm okay. I just didn't know.
But it's a common question, what does that mean when it comes to?
On 328, about halfway through that paragraph, it says that they're gonna put 100 feet of transmission line in. I think that's supposed to be, add 2 zeros or 3 zeros to that.
100 feet won't get far.
Unless that's transmission, I don't know what that means.
Where are you now?
See where it says 100 feet, like halfway through the paragraph?
First paragraph. Second paragraph.
328.
328.
Yeah, right. How many paragraphs you got? What are you talking? Well, wait a minute. Transmission line, that might be the overhead line?
It might
Yeah,
be
but-
from there's
see where the,
substation to the line.
They put everything on the ground until they get to where they tie into the actual grid, the power line,
Yeah.
and that's above ground. You see it on 98 over here, they'll have a couple of poles, and it goes down underground. That could be only 100 feet.
So that means it's only gonna tie into, it's gonna tie into this main line, or main transmission line in only one place. Is that right?
That's correct.
So it could be that that's the one place it's tying in overhead.
Yeah. It's only 100 feet long.
That makes
Could
sense.
be. That's one way to interpret what they mean by that. Because everything else is underground.
Yeah.
So when they say transmission line, that's the high tension lines, you know, that we're gonna add 100 feet to that high tension line.
Okay.
That would be my one way of interpreting it. Whether or not that's what they mean, I'm not sure. They're gonna need, if they're gonna get on that high line there, that just south of my place there, they're gonna need a substation to get on there. You can't go straight from the inverter straight up to that power line. It's gonna be a substation. That's gonna jack it out, put up on that high tension line.
Yeah.
So that's gotta be part of what they're gonna do. Over here on 98, they go straight from the inverter right onto the line, three-phase line that runs down 98. But it still has it up on poles.
Yeah.
They put some switch gear up there too, to be able to disconnect. And possibly some overload stuff on them. I'm not that well versed with the lineman type stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Some of this is just guesswork.
Yeah. That's a good point though about the transmission line. That's the only place it's gonna be overhead. From the substation to the line.
Yeah, they're gonna put the substation as close as they can to the power plant. Just be 100 feet of line to it. That's my guess.
I got 330 next. Huh?
Hey, man.
Okay. I just 330 where it, and maybe this is just me, I'm not understanding it, but the last paragraph says the FAA requires notification to any construction that extends outward and upward at a slope greater than 50 to 1. Or a horizontal distance of 10,000 feet from the runway. So 50 feet out and 1 foot up, is that right?
Yeah, that's a slope. 50 to 1 slope.
Yeah.
1 foot up, 50 feet out. 50 feet out, go 1 foot.
So anything, any obstruction you encounter in that area, up to 10,000 feet away, horizontal distance, 10,000 divided by 50 gives you the vertical distance, right? Which is probably 200 feet.
100 goes into that 100 times. 100 times 100 is 10,000, so maybe twice that. Maybe 200 feet. Is that what you said?
Yeah, 200. Yeah.
I agree.
So is that clear to everybody? I was confused by that.
Yeah, I was wondering, yeah.
So anything, basically what that says is anything within 10,000 horizontal feet from the center of the runway and 200 foot tall,
It'll be under 200.
under 200 foot is in that.
That's that circle.
Yeah.
So it's under 200 foot at 10,000. That's the maximum height it can be.
10,000 feet out. Which say
Horizontally, it's
round
like
it out
about
to 2
8.5
miles, okay?
miles.
Okay, yeah,
2 miles out, a circle.
all right.
Yeah, 2 miles an hour.
2 miles out in a circle, 4 miles
Okay.
across. Nothing can be higher than 200 feet.
How's your tower?
Unless you're going to notify the FAA.
This tree's gonna do it.
Watch out.
I'm going over 200, you better call him.
Would you hit your wheels on?
I think the trees get a pass on that one. I think they're talking about man-made object. silos within, looks like no silos, about 200 feet. The towers within a 2 mile radius or 4 miles across. This is the closest tower is the one on Hemlock Ridge, right?
No, Pine Hill. Their
Oh, yeah,
communication.
got one right on Pine Hill. That Keeler still? or-
Yeah.
That's probably grandfathered in.
I would think so, but I mean, this says FAA requires, we built it in 1965, I think. But FAA requires notification, so does that mean that they can build something in that area, but they have to have,
They probably put it on their maps.
put it on their map, and then it has to be, like a tower has to
Something like
be
that.
painted, or if it's a silo, it has to have a light or whatever, right?
Maybe. Make sure it's,
Because they have the same thing, if you go, I mean, if you go to Buffalo or Rochester and you're around the airport and you look at the taller structures, they typically would have a light on them.
those have all been marked and identified. It's on their maps, you know, so that pilots are aware where the obstacles are.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's gonna be a change, then I think that they wanna know about it.
Well, I don't think there's any, I mean, unless anybody thinks there's any action to take on that, I just want to clarify.
No. No, I think the towers, and your towers even on that sectional, Detroit section,
Is it?
pretty sure it is.
What's that?
His tower is on that Detroit sectional. I'd have to go get it, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on there.
yeah.
The one next to Pine Hill
Yeah,
there?
I got one out in the car. Usually pretty good about listing those. One I hate's that one down in Pavilion. That sucker sticks up there. The Pavilion Valley,
Okay.
they got a tower down in Pavilion that really sticks up.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you can't,
foggy, low ceiling day, it just, they reach up and, yeah.
you wanna make sure you know where that is.
I had 335.
I had 233, but the only thing I had a question was, is the telephone, it listed where all the towers were, which is fine. But then on cable broadband, I just had a question mark, because they talk about the program to offer the low income or areas that didn't have access to internet. Didn't we just put one on water tower?
Yeah, there is one.
Right? I just thought if you're gonna, you mentioned above where we have our telephone wireless services. And again, that, Caroline, maybe it speaks to it's gonna change. I don't know how detailed they wanna be, but if you're gonna partake in the grant, you might as well,
The tower in Hemlock Ridge too.
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you might as well just reference this, well, there's two broadband, partaking in the program, one, in the water tower and one.
What happened to the one next door that was supposed to go up?
I didn't see anything on that.
No?
That was a,
Just curious.
Here's two.
that was a cell tower, right?
They have a building permit.
Got a few more months to execute on that.
335. There's no legend to support the brown color.
334.
335.
334 doesn't have Maple Street
Oh.
for the electricity. The three based on Maple Street.
Oh, that's true. Yep. Remember that. I do remember that.
There was talk about that during the committee. meeting. Decided to put it in anyway.
That's what the brown is for.
I think,
it's to
I think,
confuse them.
you know, I think Sean was there. I think Sean was the one that put it in. I remember there was a conversation about that, and I don't remember. It's more like.
So the electric ought to go down Maple Street to the end of the 3-phase there. On 3-34. And then 335, the brown isn't on there, and I don't think District 8 and 9 are on there.
You're saying about 3-phase going down Maple?
Yeah.
Goes down Maple. Just,
Shows just a little bit in.
just a half a mile or so.
It shows a little bit.
That's showing.
Yeah,
I think it's supposed to go to the green barn, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a storage. Storage.
No, but I don't think it's listed there.
It is, it's on there.
Oh, okay, in the wording.
In the wording, it's
Okay,
not listed.
yeah. It should be listed in the wording, even though it doesn't show.
Yeah.
Or it does show. in the-
Yeah.
Doesn't say in the wording, it goes down Maple.
So 8, 9 are, the label or the color code only goes up to 7. And 8 and 9 are not on there.
What's brown? Is that 9?
One of those two. I'm not sure which one.
What's the other one that's missing? What color?
Well, there's 8 and 9.
Mine is Pine Hill.
That's the brown one then? What's 8? Anybody know what 8 is? Well, I'm sure Sean and Dale Brooks know.
Which color is missing?
Gillette Road, maybe? I don't know. I can't remember.
Lecture Road shows 6.
Looks like it's that light blue there that's on part of Eagle Harbor and Kansas Road. Miller Road. Is that the one that's missing? You call that a light blue on Miller Road?
Oh, that's true, yeah. Yeah, it would be.
District 5, the blue, is that just that one little blue up there? Culver Road? I don't understand what that is. Yeah. And that's it? So is it the same blue that's all around Westbury there?
Yep.
Alice Road?
Where's that all filled in?
Yeah, I don't understand why it's so.
The poor guy in the middle.
Yeah.
Be me.
Alice Road, then that would come back up to one that we noticed having nothing in between. There's not between Alice and West Perry Road, there's not. So I don't understand why it's all filled in blue. Carried away with coloring.
Yeah, it does says approximate.
You got anything on, 36 or 37? 337, it doesn't say anything about electric to the park. I don't know if it's important to add that or not. They haven't put it in, they are gonna put electric to the park, I know. Is it?
It goes to that box.
So I was just saying that I was thinking maybe they should add, if there's adequate electric for future expansion, maybe.
There's also 2 snowmobile clubs in the county.
Yeah.
But you got Southern Orleans Trailblazers and Orleans County Snow Drifters. What's that? Yeah.
342 is the next one.
Well, on 338, there's wording wrong. Regional resources. Specialized recreation available to residents of Berry, not AL Berry. Again, typo, but it needs to look decent. Is the other one, Tom?
What's your next one, Tom?
342. I just, I just wondered if we should color code that voting map. A little confusing.
Right.
Now it doesn't need for voting districts. You walk in, you could have gone to your table. You didn't ask what you were with.
That's for the, we do the town elections, they ask it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
sure,
should
it's
say
a
that,
go anywhere.
dividing line was 98, but I ended up in Berry District 1 over where I am.
You got you part of the Matthews farm.
Yeah, well.
Shit happens.
Yeah, it probably should be color coded so you can see the difference between the two.
4-2 was the next one I had.
Well, now that we got to there, cause I had the same thing. Are we gonna keep, are we recommending we keep in the survey results, and if so, are we gonna do it for all of them, or are we gonna recommending they kick them out? Cause they're not consistent. I don't care one way or the other, but they gotta be consistent. That's my blanket statement, and then on 4.2, under survey results, again, about the minimum size of a dwelling, it should say to allow smaller homes to be built. It says to all smaller homes to be built.
Is that in the first paragraph?
Yeah, right in the last sentence. Residents
gotcha.
would also support.
Are we talking smaller homes, single wides,
This is one of the discussions we were trying to have here. So do tiny homes, smaller homes,
well, they got these many things there.
Like-
Oh,
to tell what this is.
yeah, it's gotta be a square footage,
I think the
multiple
minimum,
stories.
the minimum in town's 400.
900, isn't it?
900.
So we're talking about something smaller.
Well, I had one of my fellow firemen, he wanted to put a single wide down on East Berry Road, and they said, no, it had to be a double wide.
Well, that's a,
We have
that's a
things-
manufactured home though. Correct.
Which place? He cleared the land over on East Berry Road. I can't think of his name right offhand.
Down the road.
Yeah, he's since sold the land to some fellow out of Rochester. But he was looking at putting a single wide trailer in there, and they said no, it had to be a double wide.
Because we have zoning against single wides.
Yeah.
Town zoning is against single.
I can't be specific other than that right there, that conversation. He had a line on a single wide he was gonna put in there, and he just didn't do it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get a permit.
Yeah. It's trying to think whose property that was.
No,
Just this,
yeah.
almost?
Yeah.
Almost, that's what I remember, yeah.
What was the question on this page?
How big a
About
house are they
smaller
talking
homes to be built.
for small homes?
Well, 900 is the current zoning, so the survey results, they're talking about survey results and the fact that people are responded that they wanna
See
see
smaller, or
smaller
the
homes.
possibility putting smaller residences.
Right. But that's not to say what size, that hasn't been determined by zoning, so.
You gotta look at the infrastructure, it's gotta go with that, size of,
But,
Okay.
but under B, all I'm saying, you gotta go back to, we got the survey results in the middle of the sentence. Right, they give the survey results and then they start with the lack of it's under housing resident, then it says the lack of an adequate water supply affects households who live in a few parts of the world after the town.
that got to do with it.
Well, it's,
Seems
I
like
think we as a board gotta decide if we're recommending we want the survey results or not.
let's include the survey, and if they wanna look at it, they can look at it. In this one, when they're talking about houses, that's making an assumption, says residents would also support. They can't make that.
Nothing
I mean,
specific.
you wanna look at that, look at the survey.
Survey.
Yeah.
You don't make conclusions from the survey, let the person make it themselves.
Well, my take is we get rid of the survey results only because the plan should incorporate every survey result.
That's
That's the whole
true,
reason for the plan.
it's true.
It doesn't. I know, but. What I'm talking about. Nobody uses it. Yeah, they've got a whole bunch of stuff in there on the farm.
Plan for more. It sits out back here.
have a section
What's,
there, G,
well-
park, but they didn't put anything about the survey in G.
Future, well, so we should close the park, both of them.
There's some people that agree with you.
Well, I mean,
Look,
They
it,
said survey.
we could debate this all, right? The park is what it, if you ask younger people, they'd say they want the park. You ask older people, they say, I don't want to pay for the park. And it's no different here than it is anywhere,
Yeah.
right? But whether we discuss in this room it's good, bad, or indifferent, I believe we should leave the survey results out. I mean, it was up for the planning committee. We hope that they're doing, and you guys are keeping them in line, that it's representing what the survey is. Now, the park can still be included in there, but what it shouldn't say is it's coming from allocating a lot more tax dollar resources, but no one's opposed if they want to go out and get more grants. I mean, that's how I look at it, or they do more things. Or Sean would have spent the ARPA funds the way they were meant to be spent. That's the reality of it. How do you want to allocate your money? But to put survey results in here, kind of, to your point, it doesn't follow the consistency.
Could be an addendum at the end of the document.
Isn't what we did the last time, survey results were in the back of it, or if they wanted to read it, they could see what the survey results were?
Yeah, we never.
You make
did-
a, you
we
make,
never referenced it, we never said.
you don't have to do it, but if you can put a reference in, if you want to see the survey results, stop at the town, they can, if someone not, it's a freedom of information, if they want them, we should be able to provide them to them, but no one ever really does. We're putting this front and center to validate a point that,
would attach it, there it is, you wanna read it, there it
Just
is.
an addendum at the end of the document.
That's the way it's done.
Yeah. So it's not included to the document.
I don't even know if we include it. You can if you want. Really, this is a plan based on the public's opinion. And there's not everyone who participated in the survey who might want to see it. And there could be people on your survey that didn't live in the town.
Well, it says right here, list of appendices, Appendix A, Residents Survey Report.
It is part.
So why are we putting it in here in between when it's there in the back?
It just makes it look like it makes it look like it's a bias report. And we also support the
Right.
park. We don't put, to your point, we don't put anything in there about it. Because there's nothing. Because
So there's nothing good about it.
So we're using it, we think it validates the point.
Exactly. I think we have a consensus.
How with the survey?
Well, it can be at the end. They
No,
can-
I
you
mean,
can see
it doesn't need to be in the document.
No, not in
They
the
should-
document.
They should have access to it like everything else, and someone might say,
And exactly what you're talking about here came up in the community.
what was their take on it?
And what happened?
No,
Bit like this. They have
they had
to
us
survey.
doing this, but there were people who south said we shouldn't leave it out. I wasn't the only one. You either keep it out, or you put it in for every section. And left it the way, what you have right now. It was kind of like handpicked. People didn't like that.
Is it fair to mention the survey results in any of these sections? Unless you're gonna mention it in every one of the sections.
That would be, if we were to do it and be consistent, you'd have to do that. Show what the survey has to say in every one of those.
Yeah, or you never say, the survey results say, you never say that. Just attach them at the end, or you start out with one blanket statement, which probably leads off the whole thing.
Say in the beginning, go look at the survey results to see if this supports it. Or something like that.
Like that. The recommendation is you do that, take this one paragraph out.
Bottom right, no.
Mention throughout.
Yeah. It's one, under public utilities, there's one.
But
Transportation.
there's not one under C for a commercial, it's just not consistent. You just gotta get rid of it, or you add it to all of them. Whatever you decide to do. I say you get rid of it. only because we didn't have it in the last one.
Well, it shouldn't be in the.
No, that's what I mean. I'm not saying get rid of it. They should have,
They should
I'm
be
all
able to
for
see.
full disclosure. They should be able
Right.
to see it. It doesn't have to be
Outta
part of our
here.
reading document.
They don't have one under mining and excavation. So they got 1, 2,
They definitely have it under renewable energy.
yeah, they got renewable. That was a hot one.
I mean, under renewable energy, the project will benefit several Berry landowners who agreed to leasing their property. And then under the Hemlock Ridge, they have the participating landowners will benefit financially, which is self-factual, not a. But then they have, net in after the survey, that's a whole other paragraph. Some participants at the public open house also expressed concerns about the proposed wind and solar project. Well, they're not proposed. They're about to be approved. Again, going back to.
Yeah.
Well, in the last paragraph there, not related to the survey thing, this is another piece of it. The language should be revised in 4-2 underneath renewable energy regarding beneficiaries of
Yeah, it should be
renewable
stricken.
energy projects. There's no mention of multiple landowners who are gonna benefit. I don't think it's fair to say that there's three. Several is three.
Like a derogatory statement.
And why are they're giving an opinion here again? This is all part of, they didn't put it as the survey, but it's saying, during the they expressed concerns about visual impacts, noise, property values, agriculture. It doesn't need to be in there.
No, it doesn't.
This is
Should-
future. They shouldn't, they're taking some of the survey and putting it in there. It doesn't need to be
Well,
there.
it's a derogatory statement that really doesn't apply.
So it brings you to my, this, because I had some, the whole thing was, when we did this, was not supposed to, it's not supposed to be political, and it's not supposed to be based on whether you like left or right, or green or red, or purple, whatever. But this document kind of reads the way, instead of saying what the future of the town is, and you put words, goes back to what I said, because we know the players, so we know there's a lot of people that are on the committee. The chair is against it, no big deal. That's his right to be against it.
Yeah.
But the plan document for the town, comprehensive plan,
Include that
should,
opinion.
it shouldn't include me, whether I'm for it, or
Yeah.
him, whether he's against it. It should be what the town, and that's why I'm disappointed that we didn't address what we have already approved. You can say future projects will have to be looked at under whatever. We know that. But when you don't reference the benefits of using, how you're gonna use the resources, what's the comprehensive plan? So we get 500,000 in, we get whatever the money is, we never address what we have today, and this is supposed to be how we're gonna use it going forward. This isn't supposed to be a snapshot of how I feel today. It's supposed to be, to me, I mean, this is what a comprehensive plan should be. What's the vision for the town? We stand today, we got 2 big projects going, we're gonna bring in some extra cash. What's the town residents want? They want more of these? Clearly they don't. How do they want to use the resources that they want? We're an agriculture district. What do we like? You read there what the people like, instead of just saying we like living in the rural. We like living in the rural community with no visual objects. Well, that might just say with no windmills, right? No visual objects. I don't like the trees. I don't like the birds. I don't like airplanes. I don't want anything screwing with me. But it's in here. And that's wrong. That is wrong from who we hired to do that. So I'm off my soapbox, but I read it and I'm like, this is not what we didn't ask to do this. I wanted to read where somebody moving into the town could say, all right,
They
there's no
want to move
conflict.
into the
I
town
wanna move into
because
this town.
everybody
I understand
agrees.
what they're gonna do, what their values are, whether it's the park,
Yeah.
whether it's water, whether it's tiny homes. I don't wanna read that it's red. Next end, we don't speak enough to the fire hall. It's a big part of our community. You know, we got a little blurb under local services and they're looking for an upgrade. Comprehensive plan, we should, as a town, they pay taxes. They come to the board for taxes. We should really give it some more. I don't know, it was in the survey. We don't talk to it. It's not on here.
Well, and
It's under services.
4-3, the first line, the community organization Clear Skies Above Berry was formed to organize opposition to the project. What does that have to do with this? Nothing.
So anyways,
Well.
that was no, I agree with you. I'm in the same way.
In that whole. The project approved, blah, 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 that should all be gone, community organization gone. It just doesn't, it's giving too much. That's all survey results.
There's people who bought land recently that don't even realize, which they should disclose, whether there's a future, whether there's wind towers that are already approved. That's wrong. They should be able to pick up this comprehensive plan. I'm moving into a town. It should say pending. It should say there's 2 projects approved. Steve knows. And what are you going to use the resources for? What's this community about? What do they value? I don't get the sense that this is this. I wouldn't walk away knowing. That's all I'm saying. I read it.
Well, we started out talking about the survey,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So do we want to make the recommendation that the word, or, you know, that the reference in here, any place about survey results shouldn't be there? Is that what we want to make?
Yeah, not in the comprehensive plan itself. You can have that in the.
As in the appendix can be there. The survey results can be in the
Which is what's
appendix.
set, and that's what.
But
it
any
says
place in
the
here,
It should
any
not be
place in
there.
here where it mentions what the survey results were, that in everybody's, we don't think that should be in there. Is that right?
Absolutely not.
Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Survey results and anybody's opinion.
Yeah, no
Shouldn't be
opinion
in there.
piece, yeah. And there's several of those.
Definitely.
So then, if you go down to the bottom of 4-2 renewable energy, you guys are talking about the fact that the first sentence in the second paragraph says that it will be visible from virtually everywhere in the town.
What's that got to do with it?
They can say that it's approved in 2022, expected to be constructed, approximately 28, more than 600, approximately 600 feet tall, period. That should be it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a blanket statement.
To let them know that, yes, this is what's happening here, but.
It's bringing in doesn't need to be stated either. Money that it's bringing in doesn't need to be stated either. Nobody ever said what we're doing with that money in.
Correct. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I don't think you should reference. Maybe it goes, I know we're flipping back and forth, but if you're gonna reference the money, then the plan should address how we're spending. If you're not gonna address it in the plan, your point, address the money.
you know, the chapter is listed under issues and opportunities.
It should be a statement, monies received benefit the entire community at large. Excuse me. Simple. Not specific. Well, the community at large and the school system, right? And a big chunk of it going there.
See why they, you know, the chapter is listed as issues and opportunities.
Yeah, I see that, John. I'm trying to see what,
What do they say in the renewable energy? Issue. How is it an issue?
It's still an issue.
maybe it shouldn't be issues. Maybe it should just be listed opportunities.
Development,
Yeah, it can be opportunities to maintain those facilities.
skiing, natural resources conservation, agricultural land, mining and excavation. Then you go into the housing and residential, it should maybe be opportunities for everything. I wonder what it is in the old.
Transportation.
Oh,
Yeah, there's still some old comprehensive plan books. Are they still around?
Probably.
Those big old green things, weren't they?
We didn't
No,
have
that's a
chapter.
code.
They didn't?
I don't believe so.
well, if they just labeled it issues, they could get away with it because they're just not useless. Even under agriculture. The last sentence in agriculture, the development of large-scale renewable energy projects may take farmland out of production.
Oh, they can label it issues and opportunities and put everything in there they got, just take the survey stuff out, cause that's
Yep.
making an opinion that isn't necessarily, you can make your own opinion if you read
Yep.
the survey.
You're right.
But there are some sentences in there that before
Yeah,
that should be out of there too, I think. They're putting in their opinions. Four two and 4.3.
4.3.
the only thing you could really say about renewable energy is no more large scale, projects. Because that's basically what the survey says, nobody wants any more. You've already got two.
Well, I guess if we're gonna leave it called issues and opportunity, like you said, I agree with Kirk. You take out the survey results. You can change some of the sentences that are just more not neutral, factual, just
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just opinion.
the opinion ones.
Yeah.
The facts are the facts, it's fine.
Benefit agreement is a fact.
Yep.
The fact that they're going to be visible, the fact that they're going to be visible virtually anywhere in the town is a fact.
Yeah, but is it necessary to have that in there?
Just saying, it is a fact.
No, but there are a lot of other things are a fact, but it doesn't have to be in there.
I think you take out the next sentence, you can leave 600 feet tall. I mean, if I was picking it up, I'd wanna know I can see it, period.
Period.
Feet tall, yep. I don't even care if you put visible, but to me, but during the application, you don't need, we have a lot of people express concerns, but again, this is already approved, so why keep
Yeah,
throwing
it
stones at
shouldn't
something
even be in
moving
there,
forward, is what I'm
yeah.
saying. I'd cross out during the application.
Yeah.
I'll give you my chicken scratch, I'm done, I crossed it, you can take what you want.
And do we need to have that, a community organization clear skies above Barry who's formed to organize opposition to the project? Does that need to be in there?
That doesn't seem,
Seems out of character.
Put that under the clubs and activities.
Exactly. I like that.
That's good.
That's an opportunity. We beat that up.
Yeah, I think we got enough on it.
5-1. 5-1 talks about, mobile home park. We don't have a description in our zoning of mobile home parks. We only have a description in our zoning of manufactured home park. So,
Maybe
seems
we-
like we should be referring to a manufactured home park.
Yeah.
Um, 5-1 also. Down toward the bottom, the second paragraph from the bottom talks about constraints to development in the planned industrial commercial district. And I don't know if it's a good idea to mention the disadvantages of development. I think it might be better to try to have a sentence that, or a paragraph that was trying to promote development. Because there's a lot of people that figure out how to build buildings and structures and developments where the water is 23 feet to ground, the groundwater, and also where there's bedrock. Not
I'm
really
just
sure.
wondering where they came up with that, like.
I'm not really sure of the
it-
significance.
It just reads like a negative to, under our plan use, like, yeah, we put our commercial use in an area that no one can develop. Or should want to develop. I'm with you. Yeah.
Where that came from? Left over from the other one? How do they know what?
Where's the infrastructure?
Land use, infrastructure plans, next page. Okay,
They got an infrastructure plan?
Yeah, it's really extensive. Well, our forward thinking came down a couple bullet points.
10-5-3, Tom.
I kept wanting to put something in there for gas line. Yeah, I don't care what the state says. We want gas. Shouldn't all go to Keelers.
We had to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm getting personal here, jeez. And see who was on the planning, or the comprehensive plan committee. Not that-
So the next one I had is 5-3. Did we wrap up with 5-1?
Yeah.
I just feel like on 5-1, that paragraph ought to be written to try to promote it, not deter it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
On 5-3, the sewer system, investigate the feasibility of the sewer system. Seems like it ought to be in the all of our business district. Our business district goes all the way down west on 31A to Eagle Harbor Road, and it goes south to here.
What road do we go past down to the south?
I think it comes right to.
Goes past, goes just past Root Road,
Just
Oh,
past
does it? I
Route
knew
Road.
it. I forgot.
Yeah.
because we picked up the guy on the corner,
Oh,
Road?
picked him up.
I think it showed Pusey Road up here.
So that should be Root Road to 31A. Right, instead of Larry Center.
Is there an issue anywhere in there where septic systems are, I know right in the center, very center, they had the septic tank in the front yard. Is there any issue anywhere else up there, why they wanna consider a sewer system? That's a hell of an expenditure. Yeah, okay, so it's really not an issue anymore.
What do you put in this section for infrastructure? You don't put in water, gas, and sewer, you know, what else is it?
It would probably have to be incorporated down to Albion's sewage plant.
I don't think it's anything it's just part of, like, they worded there, investigate the feasibility.
Okay, just
I
leave
don't
it
know,
at
it's
that.
not gonna be
Just-
very feasible.
yeah, it's not feasible.
Ooh, that's
It's
expensive.
gonna take a developer to need it first, right?
Yeah, it's almost like, well, it's kinda like what they did with that stamp thing, right? Well, how do we get guys in? Well, they need water, right? Power. Now, aren't they thinking sewer now, and bring sewer up there?
Yeah.
Cause they don't wanna dump it in the river, because they're worried about.
I think they already stopped the line, 63, well short of that Fork Orchard Creek. Probably about a mile to the south.
Some of the companies are talking about bringing in there, they're processing, like if they're chip making, they got waste that gotta go somewhere.
Yeah.
Normally that's neutralized and treated and put in sewer system. But they don't have that over there, it would go in the creek, and that's not gonna go over real well.
I gotta consider who's pushing that project.
So we're just extending those two sentences.
Yep.
To Root Road and to Eagle Harbor Road?
Did you wanna go as far as Eagle Harbor Road?
Don't you think they should be with the, consistent with the map that's on
Yeah, that
5-4?
makes sense.
Yeah. The map on 5-4, it's got a bubble, supposed to be a bubble for the airport height restriction. That's not 2 miles away.
No. You know, to go well over like past Break Schoolhouse Road. That's almost to the center. 98.
Yeah. I think that's gotta be changed.
That bubble's gotta be larger or indicated another way.
See it
Is it 10,000 feet across or 10,000 feet radius? think that's a 200-foot restriction, not necessarily. Well, you guys came up with that formula on that other question, didn't you?
1 foot for every 50 feet laterally from center of the road.
Just as I was flipping back through here, 3-41, 2 churches, it's now Westbury Church, not United Methodist.
Yeah, I did catch that earlier.
Okay.
This land use map too, this is a future land use map, right? So it's got parks on there, it's got the business district, the airport, the whole lot. I don't know if there's anything else we should be thinking about adding to that. We already went through the other map that was the existing use. Which, should the existing use be consistent with the land use? Or you make the assumption that what's existing is gonna continue?
Well, it should be the same as the existing one because nobody is, it has to be approved if it's gonna be changed. So this should be the same as the existing.
Current scratch plan.
Any more with that one? I had 6.5 next.
I just had on, well, reference 6.1, short term was 2 to 3 years. And then again, just to be consistent, we got priorities short term under like overall land use policy A, short term 1 to 3 years. The other thing says 2 to 3 years. Just to be consistent. Every time she puts short term, there's a parentheses on a couple of them, but not all of them. So again, we're gonna reference how long it is. I don't think you need to, you just need to say short term. So you'll see that under policy A on 6.2, and then you'll see it on page 6.3 on policy B. 6.4, same thing on number 3. Just get rid of all the parentheses.
Yeah, 6.1 says within 2 to 3 years.
Correct.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
But then it's conflicting with 1 to 3.
yeah.
Way things go, you could scratch the short term altogether. You got immediate and long term.
Well, I don't know. I guess then she'd have to change the ledger, but whatever, I'm with that. What was your Tom, 6'5"?
Yep. Yes. So
Let you take that one.
my question was, was there a majority of survey responses that identified the current zoning for home businesses as problematic? Are there existing zoning regulations that we have that are not reasonable?
Yeah, I just highlighted. So number 4 reads, revise zoning regulation to expand the types of business that can be operated out of homes without a permit. And develop reasonable standards for other home-based businesses. I just put question mark, like I'm with you. I didn't know we had a list that didn't require a permit, number 1, and I didn't think we were. Yours was much more thorough. We'll go with yours. Because I agree. I just put a question mark.
Six dash eight. They talk about the floodplain map and it was just redone. It seems like the floodplain map should be in here. I don't really understand what number 3, the basis for number 3 is. It says revise zoning regulations to facilitate protection of stream corridors, minimum 25-foot vegetated buffer along mapped streams, steep slopes and wooded areas to apply to new development proposals during the site plan review. So I just wondered if the survey response was such that our current zoning is inadequate for that.
Number 7 is very similar to that. Consider revising zoning regulations to include additional protections for natural resources. I was trying to think what they were referencing, whether it's mining.
Several questions about clean water. I think that's what that goes back to in the survey.
Six 11. You got anything else in there? Just the fact that it's missing.
Or question mark.
Yeah.
That was a cut and paste job. It would got me a little, because it was a total. Whatever 4 was deleted from our plan. It wasn't renumbered.
$6.15. Anything else in between that? just that 615 policy F should include the business and planned development district.
Oh, I had, yeah. I had on 614 too, there's a new category that came up. It was a priority was medium. Under, policy D for extend natural gas service. Again, they didn't talk about it under utilities, but it made policy D extend natural gas service to additional areas in Barry.
Yeah, they didn't put
And it was a medium priority, so there's not a category for that, so that must mean be appropriate.
infrastructure, should be under the infrastructure.
Yes, it should. Needs to be added in.
Because John wants it, I'm gonna put immediate.
I already have. I think others
Oh.
have.
Look at you.
I got it.
You're a caregiver.
Everyone should have it.
I
Best thing that ever
agree.
came along. Even Tom agrees with that.
Yeah.
Be nice to have it. Don't have to worry about your tank run.
We use that all year round. It's just certain time of year.
Yeah. May to November.
But it's not even the winter, not when everyone else is using it.
Do we currently have any battery storage
But I know.
projects? I hope not, because those things are dangerous as hell.
You approved it when you were on the board.
Engine hell.
You're sitting there nodding your head saying you're all for it.
I don't
And you
get
definitely weren't at the public hearing if you weren't.
I don't,
I wasn't even in the town.
Yes, you were.
they're making over a million electric cars a year.
No,
Percentage
but
of
those
things going-
batteries, the lithium batteries, you can't put them out with water, foam, or anything. You just have to stand back and watch them burn.
Yeah.
And then it's a hazmat site.
Which is a great place to put them somewhere where there's nothing around. I wouldn't put 'em in your backyard, for sure.
Well, what I'm concerned is if there's any actual battery systems in the town, how are we gonna address those things if they ever catch fire? Well, yeah, you let them burn, but then the downwind cleanup is gonna be horrendous.
Can't be any worse than what I just saw this weekend.
That was still basically normal construction materials.
Man, the next day, it
Yeah.
was nothing but a fog.
Oh,
On
I
the
know.
air, it was nothing but a fog all over on the northeast side. Covered the whole city there.
I saw the pictures, but, yeah, I've seen worse fires, but I'm concerned because when these lithium things do go, they end up contaminating all the soils in the immediate area. And they're basically like a dirty nuke.
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't, it's definitely not. Definitely not nuclear, that's for sure.
Well, if there's none in the town, they're all hardwired, right into the grid, good. But I'd like to know if there's any in the town. Are they planning on over on that Hemlock Ridge? Is, fire service is gonna have to address them if they were.
In the end, unless they get a permit. We have zoning for it, right?
We adopted New York State. We couldn't read it, remember? You told me we had to have it.
That all aside, where are we going with this?
We're on 7,
7?
I think.
Getting to the end here soon.
Stick 1. Where it's highlighted there, I'm not really sure why it's highlighted. A little confusing. 6.1 to 6.5. I think they mean page 6. Then
Yeah, I think that's just cut and paste crap.
I think that should say page, not table, right?
Yep. And you gotta get rid of median term. Either that or add it in the front. There's only one median term. I don't care what she does or who does it. Consistent.
And 7.2 talks about circumstances that would warrant a revision. If there was any. That's gonna kind of drive the future of it, right? What's gonna warrant a new comprehensive
Yep.
vision?
Not to be paranoid, but just knowing the partners, if you read the last sentence of 7.2, make your own opinion of what that's talking about.
Under public involvement.
Yeah. This is why we're here. I'll say it. This is my belief. Is why we're here is for and potentially a public referendum for large or significant projects. If you read this thing and you got proposed instead of approved, and you put the survey results in there, and this isn't some conspiracy. This is well documented.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, again, it gets away from what a comprehensive plan's supposed to be. And I don't blame that on him, I don't blame it on the committee, but the first guy that was a little egotistical would have drove the ship and gave us what we want a little bit better than her. Because we paid for a lot of stuff, and really, you guys has only got your input is in the last 10 pages. The rest is this is consensus, maps that are maybe outdated, maybe not, I'm not bashing. It just doesn't read like it's our plan. And I read it a couple times and tried to be objective about it.
It's a hard read.
Yes, what does it, I don't walk away, even just these put, how they put it logically, what is a comprehensive plan? Should be in the front, read it out there. We surveyed the town, this is the direction of what we're going. We surveyed, this is the input of the community.
I looked it up before I started reading it. It says comprehensive plan. Comprehensive planning is an ordered process that determines the community goals and aspirations in terms of community development. The end product is called the comprehensive plan or master plan. So it's the goal or the
It sounds simple, but it isn't simple to come up with that. That's legitimately, that's what it is. I mean, we got a committee, okay, they did a survey. So you got half the town or whatever, a third of the town that actually responded to the survey. Good, that's a start. You got a committee who all have their opinion. And obviously it was a mixed bag. That's good, but it's still, to come up with what he just described, it's a crapshoot. I mean, it'd almost be impossible to come up with that unless everybody thought the same. I'm sure my opinion of what the town should be in 10 years or 20 years or 100 years is far different than anybody else's in here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But you read it like goals and aspirations, so that's a positive, what you're looking for. You don't have all the positives in this.
Quite a bit of negative in the document.
I just think the big elephant in the room, because it's never addressed even at the town board level. It's just not addressed. There's no like, here's what we're doing, tough shit, we're moving forward. We don't have those discussions. I get it, they're hard, but we could have an argument tonight, me and Ben could, but we'll have a beer tomorrow. Like, it doesn't carry over that we gotta hate thy neighbor. And we put this together, and I feel like it's kowtowed to or try to appease a certain group instead of addressing the plan. We have money coming into the town. It's approved. How are we gonna use it to benefit everybody? Everyone always talks about, oh, these guys, the leaseholders are making, doesn't matter. The money that's coming into the town, how do we wanna be it till we shouldn't even have to mend fences. Cause we really should be all like, I don't have to agree with you, doesn't mean I dislike it. We walk away, we're disagreed. But I thought the plan, to your point, Tom, what it's supposed to be is a positive. What do we want the future of the town? Here's what we got. Here's where we are today. We all like agriculture? Yes. We all would agree on that. Should remain a rural community. What do we want to do with the resources? Well, if we want it to be a rural community, we make better what we have, whether it's through infrastructure. That's how I would look at it. Let's make our infrastructure better because it benefits everybody. And it doesn't change the characteristics of what we like. It's not that whether we hate the windmills or we love them or whatever, or we hate. It's a snapshot of here's what we have today. We didn't all vote on this, go into this plan. To me, it's where do we want to go? Here we are. And that was what the first guy, he came across wrong, but he did say, look, you guys are coming into some money. Let's face it, how do you guys want to use that? And we need to really boil down, because that's kind of like, you like towns, you want to support, give grant money to new businesses, start up. Like he kind of makes you think of what the possibilities are. Or do you want everyone to have less taxes and do nothing? Right? No, but I mean, again, maybe that isn't. But we don't even talk about it in here. It all talks about we don't want a big project. This is pending. There's somebody against it. People were outraged. You know, I don't know. Feel like I talk a lot. Sorry.
No, you're right, because,
I just don't want to see us do something because the last one everyone worked hard on. It's here for a long time. Once we get this stamp, I didn't even realize they already have a public hearing set for this thing. Like, yeah, it's
Only for the
18th.
draft. Not a public hearing to adopt it, only for the
Okay,
draft.
is
That was the question. Who gets the next public hearing? Is it the planning board or is it the town board?
It's the comprehensive plan committee has their own public hearing,
But
Okay,
that
I
was-
see. I didn't know that.
This
This is like,
just for the, it's just for the draft.
just for the draft. And then we recommend the draft if we, to the town board. But do we have the public hearing for that, or does the town board have the public hearing?
I think
for
the
that?
town board's gotta have it.
It's all,
At the final
Yeah.
show. Right. But the town board will have it, not the planning board.
just my thoughts. It could be way off base, but I thought it would be more forward-looking, positive. That's all.
should be, very much should be.
I know they put a lot of time into it. The participants did. I just don't think.
There's too much emotion put into that.
Well, it's hard to do. Look, it's like when you join anything. If you come into it with a bias, it's hard to be neutral, right? I mean, you give people. It's hard even to get people to run for like a school board. Normally, people come to. I can say this, bring up. They come there because they have an issue, right? And they want to change it. Then it's it's kind of hard to accept anything else when you have your own
Yeah.
reason, agenda to do it. And I don't think any of us should have been on there that was, if they wanted the true comprehensive plan that the town wasn't calling for, but should have went to a coffee shop and picked 20 people randomly that lived in the town of Barry. Not even give them a head, hey, can you participate? Can you participate? Put you in a room, here's the results. What do you think? And just do one-on-ones, because you're gonna get 20 different opinions. But it was up to her to draft, is my point. Someone's to keep that stuff out of there. That's all I'm disappointed about. And I'm not blaming her. Maybe there was strong overtone, but
Took a lot of it out. There'll be a lot more.
yeah, you see that, that's too bad because I don't know, I'm sure she was, I'm sure this is very, very vanilla possibly. Because knowing her, I like her. First, it's not criticism, she does great. She's done a lot of good things for the town, the whole Valley has, but I just felt this felt a little short, but I don't have all the facts. It just,
So where do we go from here?
Those are our recommendations.
Yeah.
everything we did tonight, I hand and the notes,
goes
she has
back to the
notes, I give her
community.
my chicken scratch.
The zoning board has their opportunity to make comments. That will go back to the committee. And then they'll have the public comments.
The public hearing is the 18th. That doesn't give the zoning board time to do much. I mean, we're making all these changes.
Yeah, but that's not gonna go, there's nothing straight. Oh, just leaving this.
Oh, okay, the same.
They're just being, saying,
Okay.
Have to review that.
all those will be gathered in for the final copy. That goes to the,
So it's just like an open house, like the last one was.
Advertised at 6:30, which I got called out and the information I had was 6:30. And that's what was publicized at, was 6:30 in the paper. But all comments will be taken from 4 to 7.
Yeah. No, I think the Corey, there will go through it pretty thoroughly. They've done it with other towns.
And the one thing, it still hasn't been answered. So that means my mind think I know the agricultural part is not in there.
You mean the right to farm?
Well, there's a reference to it, but remember how we were supposed to get the grant? And maybe they skated around it. But my feeling is they probably didn't take the grant. And that's, again, we might have made a different decision. Hindsight, that's, I hate being Monday morning quarterback, but that was $20,000.
You were gonna ask that question, Kurt. What did you ask?
Sean didn't get back. He's gonna look into it. So that means
The stipulation on that one grant was you had to come up with a Homeland Protection Committee and a plan.
Anything else on the comprehensive plan?
Looks good.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the training. So everybody's required to get 4 hours of training and each year, and we're close, but not done yet. So Sean's getting the heat for this if we don't get the training, so I think it's important that we consider that in the big scheme of things. He's the one taking the heat from the state if the members of the board don't get it, so I think we should
What's the time
consider
period?
that. It's gotta be done by the end of December.
Okay.
The other thing is he's asking us to take this workplace violence training, which I took it 4 weeks ago. And,
Did you get your
Can you do that?
certificate?
yeah,
I didn't get mine. I was on that harassment and workplace violence.
right?
October
October 28th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got yours?
I got it right here.
Good way. When you take it.
I got the email. I can send you the picture of the email because I took it.
I took pictures of it when I was taking the course because I'm like, she kept saying, "Oh, it could be a while," and then get
Yeah.
all done. It was. I said, "I'm not taking it again." I sent her an email and she never sent me anything back.
Never got back to you?
Send me yours. I'll just be Stephen Thomas. I don't care. I took it. I sleep good. There was no questions.
And not on the workplace.
Oh, there was not a question. It was two ladies.
And it's only like a half an hour. They don't even do the full hour.
The two sections.
Full hour on it.
I think I got 5 hours for doing it. Way ahead, carry over for next year.
I think that Yummy Gold is 10.
4 hour include,
You-
sexual harassment and
I did send it out.
I don't know.
It's not supposed to be included in 4 hours.
Doing pretty good. Everybody's doing pretty good on the attendance also. I guess the only request should be is if you can't be here, just mail us or very few absence.
It's just because I forgot. They comes and
Go this time.
I can't find it acceptable sharing my bench with someone who didn't call in. Can't believe they got me down for 0. Hey, make sure you update that. I don't want Sean getting yelled at. Because he didn't apply for a grant and Steve's mad at.
So I need a motion for, the county planning board, they didn't have a meeting they didn't have one in November either. What thing? No, they canceled November. Too. Well, maybe I'm wrong about that. They did not have a planning board meeting in October. There is one in November, but I don't know they didn't have it yet.
I move we adjourn.
I
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah, I had to fill it up. Cause I wasn't planning on that happening. Okay. Yep, that'll work.
Thanks for your service too.